Hello everyone and welcome back to a new episode of Journal de Sylvie. In continuation of the self-learning series, today I'm sharing the search system that I apply in my Commonplace book, which enables me to retrieve information for any given topic. My system is very simple and it's composed of two sections. The first one, commonly known as the table of content, which is basically a page number based method. Traditionally, the table of content is located in the beginning of the notebook, and it is a list of all topics arranged in the order they occur. In that case, is page number. Topics are represented in form of the headings. You can have a main heading like a chapter number or title, a consolidated one that includes some subheadings, and they are all sorted by their respective page number. So it's a good organized start for my Commonplace book, following the sequence of page number in an ascending fashion. Of course, every time I add a section into my Commonplace book, I go ahead and I update and added this section into my table content. I know I left enough space for that, but I know also for sure that my very last chapter will be named index. I still don't have the page number there, but I know it's going to be the index. And that brings me to the second and most effective search method that I use to look up for information in my notebook. Moving on to the index, which is known to be a subject-based method. So I use the index to go back and search for information by a specific subject. So traditionally, as you can see, it's located in the back of the notebook, and it's sorted by an alphabetical list of keywords with reference to the page number they occur, regardless early or late in the notebook. So as you can see here, I have tables that I divided into two vertical sections, and each is dedicated for every letter in the alphabet, ready to receive the keywords with their respective page number. So by definition, the meaning of the word index from its Latin origin, it means to point out or an informer. Therefore, the keywords that I'm using in the index are actually keys to grant me access to a given topic. The keywords can be names of people, subjects, locations, events, concepts. Really depends on the topic of your notes, if it's nature, philosophy, science, mathematics, recipes, and so on. And because this is the most commonly used system when I go back and I try to look up for information, I'll take just a couple of minutes to dive a bit deeper into the characteristics of the index. So we agree that this is to help us look up information in a quick and easy way. This can be for you when you go back and review your notebook, or maybe an ultimate reader of this document. So the first thing we learn is that as an author of your own notebook, you are to identify the relevant indexable keywords that provides you with a guide or a clue to a given topic. So let's do a quick exercise together. For example, if I am to index, let's say page 13, okay? So I do have a paragraph here where I took notes about the introduction of printing and how this was a milestone in mankind history. So one indexable relevant keyword will be Gutenberg, who's considered to be the pioneer of printing. So I'm expecting that under the letter G, Gutenberg, page 13. Now, if you think you will not remember that name, or maybe you will, but not necessarily associated to printing, it's perfectly fine to add also the keyword printing. It depends on the language, of course, under the letter P. And it doesn't have to be either or, it can be both. The point here is that you find the word that is of interest and that you probably will use to go back and search for that topic. Characteristic number 2 is that the keyword doesn't have to be one word. It can be also a short heading. Of course, we're not going to write a sentence. But an example of this, if I am to find a keyword for page 8, one thing is under the letter M, it can be medieval, or under same letter M, it can be Middle Ages. Again, both are relevant and searchable. Characteristic number 3 is that one page number can include multiple topics. So for example, if you have here, for example, page 19, as you can see, depends on how many topics you added or how many subheadings you added in your page. So in page 19, sorry, it's page 18, I have here notes about aviation. So that's probably the keyword that I will use. Let's go back and see under letter A, aviation, page 18, correct. But I do have also other paragraphs related to wars that previously, historic wars. So I'm expecting that under the letter W, if it's in English, or maybe G if it's French, to find the keyword war. So again, that tells you that one same page can include multiple, can show up for different topics. Characteristic number 4 is that one keyword can appear in several pages along your notebook. So let's take an example of this. The word expedition under the letter E showed up in page 10 and 12. So let's see. Of course, page 10 here, I will definitely use the keyword expedition as a relevant keyword, and in page 12 as well, it showed up. So a good way to address these characteristics is when you create the space for pages in your index, make sure to leave enough space because you can never predict if this same keyword will be brought up again in other pages. So leave enough space that it can be repeated in multiple pages. So let's take another example where I have a word that had several pages. For example, China under the letter C. So China was mentioned in page 4, obviously when I was taking notes about civilizations, and also it was brought up in page 5 and 6. Characteristic number 5 is that depending on the alphabet you are using, you can choose to combine several less popular letters into one section to save space for other more frequently used ones. For example, in English, it's common to combine the X, Y, Z. Again, depends on your preference. I also will highly recommend to use smaller font size than your average to optimize the space. And the last tip I will have to say that if you are using a keyword for that follows the name of a person, maybe it's an historic figure, an artist, a scientist, it will be a good habit to sort it alphabetically based on the last name. For some reason, we tend to remember the last name rather than the first one. So for example, if you are creating an indexable keyword for Leonardo da Vinci, it will show up under the letter D and not under the letter L. So you can write Da Vinci, Leonardo. But again, it's up to preferences. As long as you have a consistent pattern, so it all follows the same style. So I hope this was interesting and it helps you to organize your Commonplace book. I tested this system and it's so far working perfect for me, especially the index part. I would like to hear your comments and if you apply the same concept, or maybe if you have any ideas on how to fine-tune and optimize that system, please feel free to share it. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Happy learning!